Officially, huge welcome to the Diamond Light community and this our Lions Gate gathering, which is always a very, very powerful time coming as it does. It's called the Lions Gate because of the stellar configuration and the fact that we are smack in the zodiacal sign of Leo. There are other significances in respect of alignments and the star Sirius and the rising of the Nile and all of that. You can find that looking online. It's a very, very powerful time of solar renewal. And the essence at the moment is really about configuring our being in order to be prepared for this massive startup, because we've been going through hi Natalie, and thank you so much. It's lovely to see you. We have been going through some really, really deep and intense internal reconfigurations, and shifting internal reassessments, kind of like, and it's been for most of this year so far. So a lot of our being down at the deep cellular level is being redefined, reprocessed, reconfigured, and it's like we're being put back together again. So it's about stabilizing our inner core in the midst of this absolute chaos, and supporting this rebirth, this process of internal renewal that is taking place. And you'll see, I've been saying this for a while, that the alignment of the Mayan energetic signatures, even if you don't understand the Mayan calendar, it's fine. But the alignment of those energetic signatures from this calendar, or this rhythm of energetic life that we move through, that was defined by the Maya in their calendars. It's not a calendar in the time perspective of things. It is more an acknowledgement of these archetypal energies that flow through us, that impact our lives all the time. So you'll see from the signature as well just how aligned today is, energetically, from their signature perspective as well. And it just amazes me how that alignment gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and closer as we move more deeply into this ninth wave configuration, this ninth wave evolutionary wave, this wave of completion. Call it the ascension wave. That's what the Masters of Destiny program is actually taking us through, is a much deeper alignment. So there's some very intense work going on through that Masters of Destiny program. So let me show you the energetic signature of today, being the Lion's Gate. So we have what is known as Kin 27, the blue magnetic hand, and it is the first day. It marks the beginning. It is the first day of this wave spell. So you'll see this little glyph is repeated 3 times. It's not a gap day. But it's a focused day, a focused opportunity for some very deep healing. So as I say, here you see this blue hand glyph repeated 3 times. And in the description, it's talking about being guided by my own power doubled. Now, the blue hand, as I'll show you in a moment, is all about healing. So it's very, very deeply connected with the essence of our healing as an aspect of this stabilization and renewal. We can't renew what we have not acknowledged and healed up to this point. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. Here we have, it is underpinned. The unconscious is the alchemist, the wizard, the white wizard. It's the magic that we are capable of in respect of bringing that healing forward, bringing it from the unconscious into the conscious, our conscious reality. The other glyphs on here, this is the Skywalker. So this is all about our cosmic connections. So there's a very, very powerful link with the cosmos, with our cosmic lineages, and with our ancestral lineages as well. This is the Skywalker. So it has a support from this perspective. And this is the yellow human. So it is also about bridging our stellar cosmic connections together with our humanness, and healing this so that we can we can be the living bridge, and that bridge comes about as a consequence of our healing. So may the energy of the blue hand help me to heal in all levels so that I can accomplish what I am looking for. So this is really setting the stage. It's creating a new platform for moving forward from here with our creations and opportunities. So I unify in order to know, attracting healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. So in the healing, we're talking about recovering our own power, where that's been given away into ancestral lineages, whether it's been given away in this lifetime into the matrix, whether it's been given away through our judgments. I've got a few other things to read to you shortly as well in respect of that. But it really is about drawing back our power so that we can initiate this new phase through our healing and accomplish with our knowing, unifying ourselves. This is that stabilization, unifying all of these aspects of ourselves. So very, very powerful energy and essence here. So here's something that I found specifically about the blue hand that I thought was really helpful. Blue hand is a gateway, an opening, a portal from one understanding to another. So that's this portal that we are in, this Lion's Gate portal, characterized by this archetypal signature energy. So we are in this portal of moving to another level of understanding. A clue to the meaning of blue hand is found in the meditation. I am, by thinly veiled design, the threshold to other dimensions. In my ending is my beginning. So we've got this death rebirth essence and energy around today's signature. The initiatory gateway awaits. Blue hand is the seventh or last archetypal in the cycle of development of primary being. It represents the power found in completion. Blue hand is seen as a closure, which is really an opening to another level of being. Like the fluidity of moving water, blue hand is associated with the process of dance, mudra, and beauty. This movement is a metaphor for the ebb and flow of life. In meditation with this, experience the flowing quality that is the beauty of the cosmic dance. Remember this essence and this fluidity at times when your life feels most inflexible or lacking in beauty. And I thought that was really relevant because, again, if we look externally at what is actually going on at the moment with the breakdown, the continued dissolution of so many aspects of the old matrix, it can seem as if the beauty in our lives, and with what we've been going through, because we've been wading through a lot of the sludge, dredging things up from the unconscious, it can almost seem as if we lose our connection to the essence of that beauty, and sometimes lose that flexibility and inability to flow, where we can actually get stuck. So what this helps us to do is to actually initiate, reinitiate, and re-get back into that flow, the flow of beauty. So there's a few comments coming in here in the chat room. I'm just keeping my eye here. So really beautiful. Joyce says, oh my word, isn't that interesting? Fractured left wrist last week and needed plate and screws to stabilize it. Oh my, we hope it heals quickly, Joyce. Rachel says, I felt myself getting pulled back into the anger of the suppression, etc. Yes, all of those things. I can't tell you. It's funny that you say that, Joyce, as well, because in the last week, I had a friend staying with me down here in Hampshire in the UK. And she just laughed because every time we turned around, I caught my heel on a gate and I ended up with that bruised. Sat down while I was trying to reach for the dog and banged my elbow and got another bruise on my elbow. Burnt my finger, pricked my other finger with a bramble thorn, dropped a wooden plank on my toe. And it was unbelievable in the space of 3 days, and it really was sort of triggering that physicality. And it was also triggering the irritation and the anger with each one of these incidents that happened. So it is interesting. It was like highlighting that inflexibility and things that needed to be healed. Guided with a hand. Yeah, Joyce thanks all is flowing perfectly with surgery and recovery. So guided with a hand. Fascinating. Thank you for sharing that with us. So yeah, our prayers for speedy healing. So yes, there's some really deep healing that's happening beyond even the level of our comprehension, beyond the obvious. It's taking us into deeper levels. And it's really, really important to not judge that process, because so often, because of some of the teachings that we've had, we kind of go, well, everything happens for a reason and you created it and blah, blah, blah. And yes, we know that there is a purpose behind everything, but it is very, very often that what is contributing to that is coming from our unconscious lineages and deep within our ancestral lines. And we're going to have a look at some of that today. So there's multiple levels of healing and understanding with this. So no judgment, guys. On that score, we just recognize that it has been a tough time. So here was another a different perspective on this aspect of the blue hand that I found, and I liked it because it was actually quite practical. So this says, today we start the wave spell of the seal of the blue hand, which goes beyond archetypes as it literally represents our hands. So we start and we can look at our hands in a very different way. Our hands are instruments that allow us to transmute our knowledge into tangible creation. So it's bringing all of the creative capacity out into being, and celestially, with the energetic signatures and interactions with the planets. That is what we're being supported to do right now, is create it, bringing it into being. And we can't do it without action. And action is not just legs and movement, it's everything is our hands. It's the embracing, taking hold of life. So it's about leaving ourselves and our environment in a resonance of accomplishment. We write poetry, we write music and code and manifestos, books and scripts and business plans and blueprints. We create them all with our hands. We might think them, but then they have to be translated into something tangible. We operate machines. Even if we record something, it still requires our hands in order to share that recording with people. So it all comes down to the hands. We operate machines, tools, vehicles, gadgets, and computers. We massage, we hug, we touch, we pull and squeeze and grab and lift and give and shake and point and gesture and direct. Today also being the first day of a new wave spell, so there's 13 days. The next 13 days are influenced by this healing wave spell. So it's a theme that's going to continue. We tap into the magnetic tone, and that magnetic is about attracting, pulling towards you, to attract all of the energetic resources we will need to complete our mission and bring those elements and aspects into creation. With a limitless amount of creative options available at our hands, the touch of our fingers, it's imperative to be grounded and clear in our purpose so that we know which supplies we need to pull off the infinite shelf of the cosmic superstore. Look to the power of the blue hand, who shows us the greatest action we can take is to heal through service. And that also comes about through our hands. A couple more comments here. I was recently diagnosed with tennis elbow, and of all the days, this day it's burning. Yep. Yeah, very interesting, because all of that, affects our hands. So Joyce says, yes, hard to do things with one hand. Reminded how blessed I am to use both of them. I knew I needed to be on this call. Oh, bless you, Joyce, and thank you for following your wisdom. So yes, it's only when we don't have the use of our hand that we realize how important it actually is, and also how adaptive we can become and how creative we can become in getting around some of the obstacles and challenges that might present themselves when suddenly we don't have the use of one of them. So it is a very interesting concept. So in a very practical way, I want you to think about this. This is something that you can take forward outside of the process that we're going to do today, is to spend time thinking and meditating on what it is and getting clear on what you want to accomplish, create, or build over the next couple of weeks. Write it down. and or record it, whichever way works for you. I find it's easier to write it down because then I can see the writings and refer back to them. But spend a bit of time getting clear. And what will also be helpful for you is that little note that I put in the newsletter, which was look back at 2001, 2008, 2011, and then this year for the theme of what it is that is being healed, brought back into center, and integrating so that the resolution of that can be fed into what we are now creating and accomplishing. Because that accomplishment may just come about as a consequence of the resolution of those years and those issues. So it's not always about having this grandiose purpose, which we seem to think that we all must have. It really is just even in the accomplishment of those small things. So don't mistake anything in respect of your accomplishments. And if it helps, write down not only what it is that you want to accomplish, but write down what it is that you recognize you have already accomplished in your life so that you can get some focus. Natalie says, yes, that was so interesting looking at those years. Yeah, me too. When I was given those years to highlight by Teresa, who is a friend of mine who's a professional astrologer, and she gave them to me just the other day, I went, oh my word, I can see. I can see the thread and I can see the theme. And that is what I'm now working on. So it's quite huge. 2001 to now is 18 years. So it's 18 years that this theme has actually been running through our lives. And again, we get this 8 and 1 is 9, and 9 is the number of completion. So we're completing it now in order to be able to step forward. So take a couple of moments, and you might want to do this each day. You might want to do it even now. Focus on your hands, feel them, press them, move them, really look at them and connect with them. While you're doing this, think about everything that you have and can accomplish with your hands. And I have to smile looking at this because it was just last year, I was doing quite a few antenatal treatments in Salt Lake City. And one of the ladies came out. I was getting some water for her, and she came out of the room and she was watching me wash my hands in the sink before I actually filled the glasses up with water. And she looked, and I've got quite large hands. You guys have heard me comment on that before. They're not little, and they're, sort of quite big bones. And she says to me, wow, you've got farmer's hands. I said, what do you mean? She says, they're working hands. And I didn't realize that with all of the years of doing massage and physical body work, just how that impacts on your hands, that is also work. Even though I've been working with sacred oils and essential oils and all of the rest of it, the hands have still been so busy working so hard. So I'm not a gardener, I don't do things like that. You get gardener's hands but it was just looking at my hands with a new level of appreciation, because sometimes I look at them and I think, gosh, the hands actually show our age before the rest of our body or our skin does. But it was looking at my hands differently and going, wow, you have worked really hard over the years, and thank you for enabling me to do that. So it really is looking at those aspects of yourself with a new eye, with a fresh eye, and with absolute gratitude and appreciation. So there we go. Blue hand, the blue hand of healing. We have the hands that can embrace and heal. So let's have a look at these celestial influences, which is also very interesting. Because in the healing, in the stabilization, we are required to let go even more deeply, to surrender to the flow of life and to not be crippled by self-doubt. And I don't know about you guys, there's a lot of us around who have found perhaps that self-doubt emerging quite strongly just in recent weeks. So for me too, totally open with you. I go through phases in my life, and it was really quite intensified recently, where I kind of go, I just don't know if I am worthy of this, whether I can do it, whether I can hold the enormity. And Sometimes I don't see things coming back in respect of the financial flow, which is part of the acknowledgement, and then again, that triggers all of those self-worth issues. So it's a really powerful reminder. And as Kaipacha says with the astrological stuff as well, is that um, the more we doubt our own ability, and the Leonine influences, the Lion's Gate, are about being firmly centered in the knowingness of our value and our purpose, because then we make the most of and move through this gateway with greater ease. When we have doubts, it likely is going to be a little bit more challenging. So be aware of this and let go. Rachel says, I felt that too, wanted to just give everything up, felt unappreciated and unseen. Yes. And I think that that is the gift of this community, as we've said before, because it is about being seen. It is about every single one of you individuals that are here being valued for the gifts that you bring. It's like we see you. It's not always about being visible, but it is about being seen and being appreciated. So yes, it is actually for many a challenging time. And I know from one of the profile systems that I work with that my dragon, which is one of the sabotaging patterns, is never enough, and that's about not being good enough, and that's a deeply ingrained pattern that comes from childhood and beyond, back into the lineages. So I'm working on another layer and another level of healing that at this moment in time. So I'm very, very grateful for all of the friends, people that I have around me that just help me to stay on track. So Marilyn says, I bless my hands for all that they have done. Yes. After 46 years of giving massage, my hands are telling me I need to make changes in how I give to people. And they seem sad. Oh, that's Marilyn. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's really interesting. And we appreciate that sharing, because yes, it can feel sad when we need to make those changes, because there is the grief in the letting go of those things that we valued, and it's about saying, okay, well, maybe it's time to rest, aspects of ourselves to let go and to rest. Bunny said, yes, been a tough time with the being enough. Yeah. It's so easy to see the gifts of others as you speak, Julie and Rachel, as I see you. It is so true, Bunny. Thank you for sharing, because we do. We see those gifts more easily in other people than we see them in ourselves. And this is the time for that mirror to be the reflection back to our internal world, where we take that, that not visibility, but the acknowledgement. And we take it internally, we take it inside, that becomes part of the healing. We embody that acknowledgement so that we see ourselves the way that other people see us. So Kaipacha says, life is a constant reminder that I must go in to go out. As the more I discover, accept, and embrace, the less crippled I am with doubt. So it really is this healing about embracing everything, every aspect of ourselves. So gifts and things that we can do through this window. By the way, the Lion's Gate is not just today. Today is actually the height of the energies through this, what we call this portal, but the energies, or this window of time, remains open from, I think, the 26th of July through to the 12th of August. So it does carry through for the next couple of days. So Alan says, yes, I have been deep sea welding for almost 30 years. I am tired. I am ready to jump in. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's that absolute, almost infinite fatigue that is beyond description. So we recognize, we acknowledge that, Alan. Thank you for sharing that. And we are hopefully through this process going to help to support the rejuvenation from that deep fatigue, because it's not even just a physical fatigue, it is a soul fatigue. It is the souls that are here that are supporting the evolution, the movement of this world, this planet, that is supporting the opening of the doorways for others to walk through so that we can create a new reality upon this planet. And that's not an easy job. So thank you. Yeah, we've been saying that. I know this is your first opportunity to be with us. We acknowledge, because many of us have been feeling that deep tiredness that is indescribable. So what we can do, and this again is a really good exercise to get your pen and paper out and write down. Identify strengths and assets. Be clear about what your strengths and assets are. This is the opportunity that we have to become clear about them, to really and truly embrace them, and acknowledge them. Write them down. The rest of August, we have masculine and feminine moving along together. So this is beautiful because it ties in so well with the work that we did in the previous session, which was reharmonization. So we were harmonizing those polarities. So you see how the stabilization of today is really appropriate so that we can move forward with the masculine and feminine in harmony, those polarities in harmony, so balance and harmony. And again, when I put out the webpage for the Lionsgate and those two words jumped out, I hadn't done all of the other checking, and Carpaccio only put out his astrology report last night. So it's always fascinating for me, this synchronicity, the beauty of the synchronicity of the 11th hour, 11 11 11, as my friends are fond of saying. So yeah, I trust that. Right. The one thing that is really, really significant is that we've been in a period, and this is why it's felt very stagnant, with like 6 planets in retrograde for almost 6 months. So it's not surprising that we've been feeling mired in that self-doubt, mired in the muck, because these things have been coming up from really deep places. All of the issues and the conflicts and things that we need to resolve. From the 11th of August, one of the key things, this is from Sunday, is that Jupiter as a planet moves direct, and Jupiter is the planet that's associated with good fortune and movement, externalization. So it's about things turning around. The energy is moving. Now, this could, because of other influences, be a little bit topsy-turvy. If we are not centered in our own power, it might feel as if things are just being turned on their head, but that is an absolute vital aspect of the transformation, because things need to be turned on their head so that it can shake everything up and we can move forward in a brand new space. This renewal is really quite huge. We will likely only see the effects of what is transpiring of this renewal and of the things that we are beginning to initiate now in October, November, and going into early 2020. And I think this has been mentioned before. So we really have this being reconfirmed over and over again. So it's like, be patient, understand that you're being given the energy and the opportunity for momentum and forward movement. But be patient also in respect of your expectations regarding the immediacy of results. So I hope that makes sense. It's jumping off the cliff. And how do you do that? Do you need to be pushed? Do you need a safety net? Do you need to ensure that everything is in place before you'll actually step forward? Are you willing to find your wings and just go for it? So what is it? How do you appreciate and how do you adapt to those circumstances where you're being asked to really step into something completely new? It's about letting go, and ultimate surrender to the changes and to the flow that is drawing us forward, is carrying us forward, the cosmic flow. I love this description, and this is, I've put it in quotes because it was Carpaccio's wording. We've been in the pit stop. He says, imagine that there's a racing car. He says, we've been in the pit stop with all of the retrogrades. So they've been adjusting the car and tuning the wheels. And so it's feeling as if we've actually been held back. And he says they're putting the finishing touches to the race car now. And he used the analogy of the race car because it is virtually going to feel like being catapulted into something new. So and that's where the topsy-turvy energy can actually come in, because it's going to be rapid and unexpected. So be aware of that. I've given you that continuum of those years. Write down what you discover and what comes into stark awareness. This time is also about truly getting clear on things, and it's about authenticity, so that we are able to see through the deceptions, the illusions, the lies, the matrix, and our self-delusions. So it's not only about seeing through those illusions and deceptions of and by other people. So it means that we'll be able to see through things more easily. It is also about being able to see through the illusions that we have and hold within ourselves. Our self-delusions, if you want another description for it. So it's about confronting all of those things. So that's where we get the bravery and the courage and the power, being centered and stable in our own power, so that we can confront when we actually see the illusions and the lies, etc., both within ourselves and externally, and changing values. So this changing values is also part and parcel of the transformation. When we go through massive change, our values change. It is not a quick fix. What is happening now is going to unfold over a number of years. So again, this is the patience. We will start seeing the results of what we're doing in a couple of months' time. This is also about understanding how childhood has really impacted us, facing fears for authentic presentation. Where have you or are still playing another's game? And that is really the childhood conditioning. And you know, sometimes we dismiss it, sometimes we go back and we might get stuck there. But it really is so important, because it is acknowledging that most of the values, most of the programs that we have, all of them were instilled during those early developmental years. So how important that is. So we've just got a comment in the chat room which says, a very beautiful shiny green and gold, oh lovely, dragonfly just flew back and forth at my window, appearing to attempt to touch me and come inside. I've never seen one before. Oh, Marilyn, that's such beautiful confirmation, because the dragonfly is all about rebirth and renewal. That's a powerful message. And it is also about making the most of their life, because dragonflies don't have extensive lifespans. That's a beautiful symbol. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's for all of us too, on this call. So really, really beautiful. Take that to heart. Thank you. And yeah, this changing values is really interesting, because it's going to ask us to look really deeply within, at the values that we have embodied, that we adopted, that we had instilled from our parents, and also what has been instilled through our spiritual growth, and the various developmental communities that we've been a part of. And I was just listening to something earlier, which was really, really significant. And I've actually posted the video on Facebook. And it's a doctor, oh gosh, I can't remember, Asian doctor, who's a clinical psychologist, but her work was just really, really stunning. And she actually says that there are 4 things essentially that we have been taught are good, and that is what drives so much of our behavior. We drive to achieve what we believe and have been programmed to believe is good. And those 4 things, she says, are things that make us look good, things that make us feel good. And you think about how many teachings there are out there that focus only on doing what makes you feel good. So it doesn't teach you about accepting everything, and accepting sometimes things that don't feel good, because there is actually a process in place that it's going to take us to a whole new, more expanded and expansive sense. Things that make us feel good, things that give us money. And we see this in the so-called spiritual communities, where everything is measured by how much money you can actually pull in, and things that stay a long time, things that actually have relative permanence. So as a general rule, across most of the human race, These are the 4 things that we hold our values around. And this is part of the conditioning and the generational conditioning that we have actually grown up with. So it means that we constantly live on the precipice. Think about the cliff illusion. We live on the precipice of fear of what is not good based on those definitions. So I just want to read a few comments here. I hope that makes sense to you. I noticed a few months ago, Nat says, that most of my disturbances in my marriage came from my definition of love that I was unaware that I even had. Thank you. They all stemmed from what I was told love was. It blew me away. Thank you for sharing that, what I was taught love was as a child. Absolutely. Thank you, Natalie. That's a very powerful insight. And that is, yeah, what is good? When love feels good, because sometimes love, if it's tough love, doesn't feel good. And yet it is the right expression of love that's needed at that moment. So again, we come back to, that we are conditioned around what feels good. And not only what feels good for us, it's so often about what feels good for our parents. So if you do something, then I will feel good and I will be happy because you are presenting me with something that, that I feel good and happy about. So we learn that is all conditional. We learn to do and to behave in a way that makes either ourselves or other people feel good. So Elaine says here, 2 praying mantises, my ET healing friends, appeared this morning. Oh, wow. One was dead, the other was alive, and I took it from the siding of the building to a beautiful leafy bush. Oh, very interesting. And again, we've got the mantids. If we think about our interactions with them, the praying mantises are strongly associated with healing. So thank you. Kitty's just said those 4 things are not on the screen. No, they're not, because I'd actually done the slides and then I actually scribbled these down on a piece of paper. So you might have to go back to the recording and just write them down, because they're really, really important. So as we go through and as you redo this healing process, which is what we're going to focus the session on today, that you may wish to focus on where you have been taught a condition to focus on what feels good. So yes, Kitty, if you've got a pen and paper, there is that 4 of the key things that define our judgments that we've been conditioned around are things that make us look good. So we do things because it makes us look good. So that becomes inauthentic. And that's just part of this whole visibility, because so many people sort of do things in respect of being visible because they look good doing it, because it looks good to others. So we compromise our authenticity. So it's things that make us look good, things that make us feel good, or other people feel good, things that give us money or validation in respect of financial flow, and things that stay a long time. So in that sense, we've got this culture around Botox and facelifts and maintaining our youth for a long time, for instance. So that's just an example of that. So really important in respect of looking at the childhood conditioning, and where are we playing somebody else's game around that conditioning. Very, very interesting, because it links into how we define happiness and joy, and then finding ourselves coming up lacking and not enough, because deep within us, some of those conditions are still playing. So that was just a little extra thing. Thank you for allowing that. Big decisions. We are facing big decisions that require us to be uncompromising in making those decisions. So it's not about now what is going to make somebody else happy. It is actually about what our soul and heart is calling us to do. So that's where our authenticity comes into play. So right now it's the regality of the lion, the sovereignty and your inner power, being loyal to your inner calling and your originality, being an agent of life so that life happens through you. Rachel's just said, I think we're also at a place where we stop comparing ourselves with others and actually see ourselves. Yes. So very, very often we do find ourselves still doing that and comparing ourselves with other people and finding ourselves lacking or diminished in some way. So it's a scary time. It is also exciting. It is about risk taking and trusting. So it's really moving into this new space, taking the risk to move into and let go of more of that old stuff. It's authenticity versus popularity and acceptance. What do I do in respect of risking? What can I do in order to be authentic, which risks perhaps being unpopular and perhaps not being accepted by others? And where do we still compromise that? So you might want to do a little bit of written work and write down as well some of your own personal notes around those things. We will begin to see the results of the inner work of the past 6 months and now during October, November. And this is still very much a period of self-care, even while we are beginning to realize and recognize and see some of those changes come to fruition. So very interesting. Part of the Leonine energy, which is the influence at the moment, is to be focused and ready to act when the opportunity presents itself. And that requires that we have fine-tuned all of those elements on the previous slide, where we have, sort of fine-tuned our ability to step into a space where we risk being unpopular. Because if we are required to act in a certain way and to do the right thing that feeds our soul, then that is exactly what will fuel our sovereignty, authenticity, and our heart and our expression to be of service in the world. This entails knowing yourself and your purpose ever more deeply and being centered in your authenticity. So a really powerful message through this Lion's Gate. I think you guys will have probably noticed, those of you who've done a few of these portals with me, that each year there is a subtlety of focus. While we do have the strength and the courage of the lion, of course, we have all of the other influences around it that fine-tune what we are moving through with this gateway. So there's no mincing words here. It is a very, very powerful time, and it does still require more of our inner reflection so that we can let go and embrace everything. What if we were taught and conditioned that everything about life was good when it came to us, no matter what it was, that we stopped defining it in the way that we have been? How different would that be? How less associated with fear would our life become? So it's really beautiful to consider that. So yeah, think about that. That's why I found those conditions so powerful when I picked them up earlier. So this is just another image, and it was just continuing with the theme of hands. You guys have seen this rainbow bridge before. This is what we are doing. This is what we do through this gateway. We hold the world in our hands. Oh, we've got a lovely comment here. Elaine says, somehow this 8-8 portal feels more lioness. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, absolutely lovely. Yeah. And I think it is part and parcel. To me, I don't know, I see them both going hand in hand, because it's the masculine, the embodiment, the male lion, the masculine embodiment that is actually really strong and courageous, and yet it is the lioness that goes out and does the hunting. Hand in hand. Yeah, the two go hand in hand. Absolutely. And while we're balancing the masculine, feminine, we need the rising of the feminine in order to maintain that stability and balance in the core. So yeah, it is about balancing and perhaps recognizing more of the lioness. But we hold the future of the planet in our hands. The healing that we do, the healing that we offer, the service that we offer to the planet in how we express ourselves is in our hands. So the fate of all of this is in our hands. Very powerful concept. So the light code that we are going to use is reawakening. It has been a while, and this really jumped out as being so appropriate. And this is one that I almost feel, I don't know about you guys, as you focus on the image on the screen, you can almost feel the vibrations coming off it, beginning to sort of unravel and get the cells vibrating ready. And there's a golden light that actually works through. And who is it that says green and gold dragonfly? Oh, there we go. I've only just realized that synchronicity. How beautiful is that? That referring back to Marilyn with the green and gold dragonfly. And we have within here coral, and the color coral is about self-love. It is about self-nurture. And that is also a theme that's actually being carried forward. So it is about the wisdom of our higher self, the green of change and changes in direction. And it is about the acceptance and the love of self at the core that actually is able to then seed that wisdom and bring it into being, that enables the growth to occur from a place of stability. So it's a very powerful light code. There's layers and layers of meaning in that again, as there always is with these light codes. Excuse me, I just need to have a quick drink before we go into the process. So does anybody have any comments? Really fabulous opportunity that we have. And this quote, of course, and suddenly you know that it's time to start something new and trust the magic of new beginnings. So great deal of trust, great deal of letting go that goes along with that. And trusting in the magic and remembering that it is, Rachel says, I always feel that this light code is masculine, feminine, and the seed that is created as a result of the union. Yes, it is, isn't it? It is that balance. There is something in it. I mean, it also looks a bit like a face with a tongue. It's almost got a link back to some of the Mayan characters, like a crop circle. Yeah, it is like that imprint of a crop circle. It has a very powerful initiatory energy. So if you'd like to spend a few moments, I see we've got just a few more comments coming into the chat room that we'll have a look at before we start. So Joyce said, had a dream last week I was giving birth to a baby and wasn't going to wait for help to come. Oh, now isn't that fascinating? Bunny says, love the light codes. Yeah, I know. They just are beautiful. They unfold their wisdom and their gifts all the time. They continue unfolding as we work with them. So giving birth, that's really, really interesting. And that's not the first time I've actually heard that theme coming up in people's dreams of late. So, oh, there we go. Paula says it's the womb, this code, feminine with masculine inside. Oh, fascinating. There's an interesting another way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it. Thank you. Embracing both. Thanks, Paula. Great insight. Yep. The womb. Yep. Jointly creating new seeds of life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think about that. These codes, when they came through, was just so fascinating. So it was just like scribble them down and do them, and then go, okay, what do you mean? What is this all about? So really fascinating. Yeah, it is. It's the feminine womb. Thank you. And Joyce said, also funny how looking at it reminded me of that dream. Yeah, and they're giving birth. Yes, because it triggers the remembrance. Elaine says, your instinct is amazing, Julie. Thank you, Elaine. Always, at the 11th hour. Well, it is just trusting it enough to do it and go, okay, well, yeah, now tell me. And that's really what I've found is one of the most powerful ways of allowing things to unfold. Is like, just do it. Just do it. Sometimes it involves jumping in where angels fear to tread, which is also part of my profile, and that can be problematic at times. Which is, yeah, do it, and trust that the answers will come. However, sometimes that is absolutely necessary in order to bring about what is needed and what is required, and the change and the insights and the wisdom. Rachel says it's also like a lily pad on a pond. Oh, yes, it is. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Rachel. Yeah. Yeah. And the lily pad, if we think about the lotus flower as well, the lily pads that you see, the roots go way down into the darkness. And then the flower emerges above the surface. So there's lots of insights there. Thank you. Yeah, giving out ripples on the water. Yep. Yep. It's the cosmic water. The cosmic water, the cosmic flow. Beautiful insights and connections. Thank you, everybody. So Paula says, feels like we're moving into a very uncertain time that oddly has a huge amount of certainty in terms of change, a beautiful roller coaster ride and tide of energy. Well said, Paula. Yeah, that's exactly it. When you look at all of the insights that have just come through, that is almost, it's the kind of paradox, but it's the certainty and stability that we hold within our core that enables us to navigate the terrain. So Rachel says it also feels to me as though it is emerging as a gift from the water. Yeah. Thank you. Good. However it feels for you, Elaine says, yes, but I hate roller coasters. Yep, you do. And you hate helter-skelters as well. So I'm keeping myself in a Merkaba bubble. Just go into the womb. You don't need to go into the roller coaster. Just go into the womb and hold that space. Okay. Wow. It's so lovely to have wonderful group here. Natalie says on the top right, it looks like green arms and a hand. Oh, is that here, Natalie? Oh my goodness. You know how we did that with the last light code, where we suddenly saw things that weren't there before? Now that is the first time that I have seen that. It does too. Can you see it now, everybody? Can you see? This is like an arm. It's like encircling and enfolding. And these look like fingers that are actually holding all of this. So holding you. So even while it's vibrating, it's actually holding everything stable. Oh, wow. Well spotted. Love it. So Marilyn says, love this light code. Here in the US, people are filled with fear and anger from the shootings. Yes. The garlic festival down the road from me. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And the other two this week. Reawakening is so needed by me and all. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you, Marilyn. That's true. And of course, it's hit the headlines everywhere. So yes. So let's just envisage being held as we actually work through this. Beautiful. Okay, so if you're ready, no more yakking. We've done plenty enough already. I thought I was only going to yak for half an hour, but it became a little bit longer. So so Rachel said, I was talking with someone the other day about how I was feeling the fear and uncertainty of people here in the UK. It's exactly it. You know, it's the Brexit thing. It's the no deal. It's the real fear of businesses disappearing, sort of going into recession and depression. And that's, it's really, it is tough. It's very tough. So as sensitives, we're really picking up on all of that collectively as well. So the greatest gift that we can give to ourselves is to go through this healing and facilitate our own reawakening to a whole new level, because that enhances our creative capacity as individuals. Right. So if you are ready, you've had plenty time to look at the light codes. Any final questions or comments on this? before we start. Otherwise, you can make yourself comfortable. And just make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. And gently close your eyes. And begin, as always, by taking a long, slow, deep breath in. And out. And again, deep breath in. As you imagine the thoughts and all that is going on in your mind like a merry-go-round, swirling around in your brain, going round and around, but it's winding down, slowing down. All of the ups and downs of your thoughts that are then linked and fueling your emotions. Just slow down, so that you can get off the merry-go-round and allow yourself to be fully present with your grand essence, the highest expression of who you are. Just be aware of the stillness now, rippling throughout your body as the thoughts and emotions slow and slow down further. And in this quiet space that is being created within, you create around you and through you your diamond. Two pyramids joined in the center, one pointing up, one pointing down, anchored at the very base of your spine, the seat of the fire of your soul, the fire that creates the alchemy within, the magic within, the fire that burns and fans the flames of your soul's passion within your body. For this seat is at the base of your spine. And the clues are even in the word pyramid, which means fire in the middle. And as your beautiful octahedron, your beautiful diamond stabilizes and settles in alignment with the base of your spine, you become aware of a column of light flowing through from the point above your head. You may call it your soul star, extending down also to a point below your feet that we know as the Earth Star. This stabilizing column of your diamond, the central holding position of your sacred light body that is created in the form and shape of the very source of life, the creator, the universe, allowing you to reharmonize gently and slowly and yet powerfully with the flow of life throughout the universe. Your core column glows brightly, even as your soul star activates and comes alive with burnished tones and hues of brilliant gold. Beautiful, warm, fire-embellished codes of light, swirling on a golden spiral within your soul star. They are the codes of your soul essence continually being fed into your being. And within your diamond, you are now more receptive to receiving yet more of these codes. It's not only codes, it's the infinite wisdom of your highest, most beautiful, refined self. Allow that golden energy to begin to spiral down, around and through you. Noticing how the pores in your body, in your skin, open up and become larger for you to receive the influx of golden light. The influx of wisdom, the influx of your knowingness, triggering your cells for the initial remembering of the fundamental form that gave rise to their creation, the fundamental love of the universe that birthed all and that birthed your unique expression of itself. For your diamond is a mirror of all that exists, of the one, of the source. Just allow your body to respond as you experience that knowingness within your being. As the golden energy spirals down your core, through your body, and all around you, bathing you in the warmth of the gold of the sun, the gold of the lion, the gold of wisdom and truth. And from below your feet, as those golden sparks of light connect with the Earth star below your feet, it triggers activity within this energy center below. And this energy center fires up. And as it does, you note the beautiful richness of the magenta color within this sphere of light. It is the red, the deep, deep red of the core of the earth, the grounding, the fuel, the physical energy, combined with the blue, the purity of the blue pearl of creation that creates this magenta color. Magenta in and of itself is the color of rejuvenation. It is used for rehabilitation, recuperation, for restoring energy in a gentle and loving, nurturing way. So that magenta spiral that is beginning to form within your Earth star now begins to emanate up into your diamond. It's vibrant and yet soft, like the velvet petals of a deep magenta rose. You can even smell and get a hint of the fragrance associated with this color as you breathe it up into your diamond. allowing that nurturing, nourishing, revitalizing energy to permeate your bones, your physical body, activating production of new, vibrant blood cells, swirling through your organs, swirling through your liver, your spleen, helping to soften the roots of any anger held within the organs of your body, swirling through your digestive system, rejuvenating it so that you can absorb the nutrients of truth from the golden spirals of source, spiraling through and up into your heart, enlivening, bringing it alight with this mystical rose. And it's like jump starting your heart again as it opens up and expands like the petals of a blooming flower, spiraling up, up and into your brain, soothing all of the nervous energy, the anticipations that may be associated with fear, all of the old neurons, neuronal connections, just soothing all of those synapses that have been so busy and overworked, quietening them down. So that your body feels and begins to feel rejuvenated and yet calm and peaceful. And between the two, the magenta spiral and the golden spiral now begin to meld like liquid plasma. Beautiful energy. Plasma is like water, just highly energized, light. And the colors intermingle so that what you see now becomes a coppery rose gold in the fusion of these energies. And in that fusion, your softened heart expands even further. For rose gold is the ultimate healing color, a perfect healing color, for it heals by bringing into being the essence of soul through the gold and the rejuvenation and love and physical support of the magenta. So allow your energy field, your body, everything now within your diamond to be infused with this blended, balanced, stabilizing color. Just be aware of what is happening within your body, with the connections, with the receiving and transmission of information and insight. Just allow yourself to be bathed in this energy. And your rose gold diamond now begins to spiral around you as you hold this essence, this beautiful, loving, soul-based essence. It spirals and it spins, and it carries you now to the lands far away, to the dry deserts of the Kalahari, in Africa, where live the San Bushmen, for they await to support this journey within the Lion's Gate portal. And you can even feel the sand beneath your feet as you land upon this desert landscape. There is a guide that is waiting to take you to a special ceremonial place that has been prepared. He is dark-skinned, slim of build, wearing very little, and speaking in a clicking language that your conscious ears cannot understand, and yet which your heart recognizes, and you follow him willingly, taking with you your rose gold heart. The African sun is hanging low on the horizon, which is dotted only by the image of some isolated thorn trees, and yet here in the middle of nowhere is a wooden enclosure that has been built especially for you, and within the enclosure a fire burns, and you are each guided into the ceremonial enclosure where the dancers of the Sand People, those who hold the original diamond codes of creation, the route to healing, they are waiting to hold open the portals and the doorways to the realms of the ancestors and your star lineages for you. And you bow to each one of them in turn as you enter the enclosure and take up your position, sitting or being guided to and then sitting upon a flat, warm rock surrounding the fire. You are quite far back from the flames, but you feel the warmth of the fire. And then as you sit, there is a silence, an anticipation in the air. You can hear the crickets chirping and the birds as they settle down for the evening. You hear soft whispering and the padding of feet upon the desert floor. And appearing now into this sacred space, invited in, is a woman who is known as the Mother of the Lions. She existed in physical form. She now exists in the ancestral realms. Her name is Maria Xhosa. And behind her she guides a number of sacred white lions and lionesses. She brings their spirits with her. And in the silence, she just moves into the inner circle around the fire, and she guides each of the lion spirits to each one of you and spends a few moments introducing you to your leonine guardian. Take note of whether you are introduced to a lion or a lioness, and what names you may be given. Whether your lion allows you to touch or experience that connection with it, whether it is just telepathic. It's almost as if the fire that burns in the center glows through their spirit form and burns through their eyes as they sit connecting with you in this circle. You have no fear, for Maria, who guides the lions, communicates with them all, has the strength and control to communicate with each and every one of them, and you can feel the strength of the energy building in this place with the support of Maria. Allow yourself a few moments to connect with your leonine spirit animal, and then they lie down with their paws over your feet, holding you in solid connection with the earth. And once these positions have been taken up, Maria settles herself down, and the San now take up their places in this outer circle behind you all. And in a strange language that is indecipherable, they begin to sing and to chant and to dance. They are invoking the powers of Source, the original Source with whom they have maintained a biological and spiritual connection as the oldest known race of beings upon the planet. They invoke the healing power on your behalf. They invoke the healing support of the ancestors, also enabling the opening up of doorways and portals into areas that need your assistance with the healing. You are aware of the gatherings of the ancestors behind them as they begin to dance and speed up the rhythm around you. You can feel the vibrations of the earth as your body begins to vibrate, opening up. Your entire being is expanding, and you are aware of threads of golden light appearing above this circle as the San people dance and invoke and hold the energy of this amazing place for you. Threads that actually burn through the night sky, usually invisible, now brought into stark reality, connecting you through the universal fabric. And your body vibrates more intensely as their dance speeds up, as their singing becomes louder. All you can hear and feel are the vibrations being initiated. And now in the air above the fire, you see appearing almost as if out of nowhere, an orb, a three-dimensional orb that glows green and gold, and within this orb is the three-dimensional form of the light code of reawakening, reawakening through healing. And that orb, now like a holographic projection, projects aspects and parts of itself towards each one of you, holding space. So that your body and the cells that have been vibrated open accept these encodings, and everything suddenly, as your body embraces this hologram, everything speeds up. And while you are anchored to the earth by the fire and the lions and the sand people, your spirit and your consciousness increases in vibration, and opening up behind you are spirals of the most amazing light, spirals that connect you back through time, that open up those mysterious doorways. That reawaken the codes that have lain dormant within your lineages, within your ancestors for eons, and your consciousness is allowed and it is freed to move along the spirals. And as you do, moving at great speed, you become aware of patterns and holograms being projected from your current life. Patterns that are emerging for healing. And they emerge to be drawn into the vortex in the center as they are released from the confines of the spirals of time. And moving back, you find that you come upon a juncture where that spiral connects with two further spirals. Moving back, and you can choose whichever one you wish to take, for all of the spirals lead back to the same place. The chanting continues around you as you now begin to connect with the ancestral realms through these pathways. And you choose the spiral to take as you allow your consciousness to speed along. And what is awakened are the codes within the ancestral lineages, the codes that were held by tightly programmed ideas and concepts and values and judgments within your parents. And they are popped out of the spiral into the center of the vortex. And you move, continue moving further back, hitting junctures as you travel further backwards in time on all of these spirals, traveling back through your personal ancestry. The lineages just opening up behind you, being held open safely through this sacred ceremony. And you move and travel through these junctures, and even as you look back, you can see that there is a golden thread that guides you back to your body. And that's okay, because it's there. You are safe. You are safe to travel as far as you need to travel. For your essence infused with the fuel of the reawakening code as reawakening codes within all of these timelines, all of the history. And it is feeding from the ancestors within your timelines that actually held wisdom and codes that would support your reawakening when the time came. So they are also aspects of your ancestors that open up and feed into the code, as your consciousness, embracing it, spirals and continues spiraling through these gateways and passages and tunnels of time, way, way back into your stellar cosmic ancestry, the beings, unusual beings from alternate galaxies and planets that were part of the seeding of your essence, your physicality, and your soul upon this planet. And you follow even those spirals further back, guided by a light that you can't see yet, through passageways and tunnels, gathering up all that is ready to be healed and reawakened at this time, until you come upon the brilliance of the great central sun, the brilliance of the core diamond from which emanates the entire galaxy. Universe, universes, emanating the grids of light through which the spirals unite and traverse. And as you speed towards this central light, this piercing, beautiful light, you are aware of being enveloped and enfolded with a love and a peace beyond all understanding. Your entire essence merges into this central fire. And in the distance, you can still hear the sand people holding the circle, holding your space, holding the sacredness of this gift and opportunity that we are all sharing. And you allow your essence to simply be infused and healed, and your heart to expand even further as you immerse yourself in this central light of ultimate benevolence, ultimate love, ultimate unity, ultimate peace and beingness. And you swirl around, and you now find yourself drawn back into the time tunnels, into these wormholes and the spirals, where as you move back through, this heart energy that has opened, this essence that you bring back, infuses all of those projections, all of those holographics that were thrown into each of the spiral vortices. You gather them up within your being, where they are instantaneously transformed into their highest expression. And that is held and enfolded within your consciousness. And you follow this golden thread back through the time tunnels, through the vortices, gathering up, vibrating in a way that you've never experienced before, expanding your beingness, aware of this incredible expansion as you gather up all of these fragments and pieces, only that which your physical body is able to maintain at this moment. You gather it up, supported by those ancestral beings, also positioned and aligned with these tunnels, these wormholes of time, healing the fragments as you are drawn back to your physical body. For a journey that has taken and could take many, many light years, the healing takes place instantaneously as you find yourself back in physical form. almost with a jolt. Aware now of the singing and the dancing around you, the vibrations once more of the earth, of your physical body being held by the leonine energy and essence of your lion companion. The eyes still focused upon you, and the fire burning in the center, the reawakening light code still spiraling in its orb above the fire. Allow yourself a few moments for this refined essence and aspect of yourself to readjust to your physical body, for the healing that has been achieved to make its way down through your DNA, for the shifts in consciousness and values to become known. As whatever needs to be brought up into your conscious awareness is brought up. And breathe. Deep breath in all the way down to the tips of your toes. As the song that the San people are singing now changes in melody and form. And they sing now to slow down and close those gateways with an honoring. They sing for an integration to take place within your body. They sing an acknowledgement of the role that you play as a living bridge between heaven and earth, between ancestors and future, between masculine and feminine, between the divine and the human. And they sing all of these polarities into balance and stability. And their dance has a different rhythm that you can feel in your body, that you can feel through the feet, and the vibrations of the earth. And as the integration takes place, the lions, your companions, now sit up and release their hold upon your feet. For your body is stabilized, your essence is integrating within your physical form once more. And they move towards you and place their mighty head upon your lap. Still gazing into your eyes, you marvel at the strength and magnificence of these creatures, and they breathe in deeply, and as they breathe out with their head upon your lap, they breathe out stardust, particles of brilliant diamantine light. They breathe it into the core of your being, into the core column of your diamond, helping to stabilize your form, providing you with the essence of their strength, of their knowledge, of their wisdom. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you're aware that the songs and the dance and the movements around you begin to slow down. The heightened vibration and essence of this journey, of this experience of your healing, is being soothed and eased into the calmness, the center of your being, with a feeling of heightened wellness and of clarity, of renewal. And one by one of the sand people comes up behind you and places his or her hands upon your shoulders. And you can feel the light of source that flows all the way through them, that they hold upon this planet, flowing into you. As the lion breathes out, cosmic dust and particles of diamond light, the sand people hold open and seem to almost evaporate and pixelate as they stand behind you, reminding you and honoring you of the enormity and the unique expression of source that you are. Allow yourself to connect with this in appreciation for the gifts that are all around you. Be aware of the value that you hold intrinsically by virtue of your being. As with tears of joy in the renewal streaming down your face, you extend your gratitude front and back from this amazing heart of yours to the lion spirits, to Maria Causa, to the land upon which you are standing, to the incredible beings that are holding space and have held space for you, to the sand people, to Mother Earth beneath your feet, to the ancestors that gifted you with both their challenges and their wisdom, so that you may evolve and grow through the opportunities that these times have presented. Gratitude for everything, for all is good. All leads you to the place where you are intended to be, for you are a manifestation of the Creator. And the hands leave your shoulders now as the lion lifts its head from your lap. And they bow before you and behind you as they turn now to leave this circle, leaving you just for a few moments in the peace of your space in front of this fire, slowing down the vibrations, coming back into embodiment. And as you breathe deeply, you now prepare to leave this sacred space and to return to your unique third dimensional created environment. And with a deep breath in, you slowly become aware of the surface upon which you are sitting or lying, of your feet upon the floor, the stable earth, the great mother, of the walls around you, of the sounds, now seemingly out of time, coming back from this magical experience. And another deep breath in and out as your essence stabilizes and settles within this renewed environment, your refined essence. For each level of refinement is a renewal. Each level of refinement speaks to the cells of your body. It speaks to your DNA as it switches on different templates, sequences within your life blueprint. Take a deep breath in as you move your hands together in front of you. And then you open them in gratitude for your ability to embrace life, to welcome it, to receive and to give with your hands, to be of service, to create, and allow your hands to begin to move in the air around you as you weave the light, the essence of your being with your hands themselves, knowing not what you are necessarily creating at the moment, but you are weaving light that will come into being, that will become visible. And take a deep breath in. And breathe out as you now prepare to bring your entire being back into waking consciousness. And breathe in and breathe out with a sigh. And you can open your eyes. And welcome back. So Elaine says, I felt like I was in a rainbow top, yeah, the toy, spinning out old programming and at the same time stabilized and in perfect balance in my environment. Beautiful, Elaine, thank you. Colors in the fabric of the top swirl while my lioness is perched next to me, next to the top, beaming focused love through her eyes. Her mate pushes the top of the spinning top, keeping focused momentum. Recognize that a top requires the presence of the hand to create the fun and motion. Beautiful, Elaine. Thank you for that. That's amazing. Wow. Whew. I couldn't resist that. I actually found myself as we came back, that I wasn't expecting to do that, but that process of just weaving and moving my hands, it's like some of you do with light language. It literally is creating a language. I have no idea what I was creating, but I know I was knitting together and weaving strands of light there at the end. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. Joyce says, burned up with heat has moved through spiral. Yeah, that's it. Yep, the fire, the alchemy of the heat that's generated through the fires. Wonderful. Wow, that went on a little bit longer than I expected. I said it wasn't going to be that long this evening, didn't I? I apologize. Uh, have to go to an appointment now. Okay, Joyce, have a wonderful, wonderful appointment. Thank you everybody for being here. So Rachel says, after you asked us to create our diamond and the core column, I've no idea what you said. I could hear your voice as if it was a tone or a sound I could hear around me. I saw all sorts of shapes and colors and felt huge amounts of energy in my hands. Wow. Paula says, oh my God, I had a reboot when the two spirals came together like a defibrillator was used on me. Wow. My entire body jumped. Everything is moving inside me now. Oh, that's beautiful. Paula, that's fabulous. Thank you. Karen, I saw myself morph into a sphinx. Whoa, there you go. Memorialized. Serge, don't apologize. Okay. Okay, I won't apologize. I'm going to say thank you for your patience and thank you for staying the course. Thank you. Bunny says, beautiful. Thank you so much. So healing. Thank you for that reminder, Serge. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Oh yes, Paula. Yeah, I had to put looking after a dog and I had to put him in the other room and he's not happy. So I'm going to need to go and let him out. There was a dog, yeah. So I didn't know if you guys could hear it. Elaine says, my rainbow tribe was spritzing water on my swirling being. I was gone many, many times. You're an amazing orchestrator of our diamonds. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Piway was here. I was transported so beautifully. Thank you. That's wonderful. You're amazing. Thank you. Well, you guys are amazing. It doesn't happen without you. So Rachel's one point, I felt a spiral of light in my hands. I felt as if I'd been to bed and been dreaming. I woke up 15 minutes before you finished, was extremely thirsty, drank my whole bottle, woke up and remembered I was on this webinar. Very strange. Oh, that's fascinating. Renata, so powerful and feel well filled and at the same time turned inside out. Fantastic. That's it. Long may that actually continue. As I traveled through the ancestral spiral, I saw myself as a battered baby doll. Oh, wow. Almost as if I came into this world battered and wounded, then I came out the process healed and new, emerging as a stronger doll. Thank you so much, Julie. It was truly an amazing experience today. Have to run. Love, love, love you. Thank you, Natalie. Yeah, thank you. Ditto Kitty. Sorry, pressed the button too quickly. Well, Mary, incredible journey. I was patting the beautiful line. It felt so familiar. Rachel, I felt incredible heat at one point. Yeah, that's usually the case. We were in La La Lands. Yeah, there's a couple. We were in La La Lands. Yes, indeed. Okay, I was transported. So Noelle says, I was transported when my husband interrupted me. We will be able to have the recording. Yes, you will, indeed. I'll get it out shortly so that you can have it this evening. It was beautiful. Ah, thank you, Noelle. You can have the slides too. Yes, I can do that. There's another request. So I'll do that for you. Kisses. Kisses right back to you guys. It's the combined cumulative effect of all of you present on the call doing this process. And I think the more people we have, because we had a really good group today. In fact, I'll have to sort of upgrade for larger groups, I think, because we've really been experiencing good strong connections through these community gatherings. So the more people we have, the more that's amplified for each and every one of us, not only for us, but it is part and parcel of us being of service, because the ripple effect through the fabric of the Ultimate Diamond Grid is tremendous. So I just want to thank you all, as always, for your contributions. So Rachel says, I felt as though I'd been asleep all night. Now I feel as though we're getting ready to begin. Now you see, but that's the renewal. That is exactly it. And it is almost as if we've been through this unconscious period, this sleeping period, and this it is like waking up to a whole new reality, to a whole new lens. Elaine says, thank you, Julie, for leading us all down the yellow brick road. Yeah, well, I didn't quite do that. I might do the ruby shoes at some stage on the yellow brick road. Michelle says, thank you. My cat enjoyed this too. Oh, that's wonderful. Elaine, yes, thank you, each one here holding Diamond Light. Yeah, thank you to all of you. Because each and every one of you on the call is doing that. The minute you are guided into and you anchor that diamond essence, you are all anchoring in that diamond light. And this is one of the reasons why there is an acceleration of people beginning to talk about the diamond light, completely unrelated to our community, but more and more people are connecting with it because of the work that's actually been done through these gatherings and through your commitment. So it's been absolutely amazing. Elaine says it's all included, ruby shoes and Toto. Yep. Yellow ripples on the light code. Oh, there you go. Yes, yes, yes. The yellow ripples of the light code. So this feels very, very uplifting compared to what the energies have been like. It definitely a very powerfully intense Lionsgate. So I'm going to sign off now. Yeah, the barking dog was Toto. I hope Rafa wasn't disturbing you too much. Rachel, this is such an incredible gathering. We can only imagine what we're doing in so many places. Absolutely. Renata didn't hear him. Okay, he was just along for the ride. Yeah, he was. It's just really interesting because I'd put him in his room when I did the interview with Alara Canfield last week, and he was very quiet. He didn't mutter, whereas today he was actually really busy. So maybe he actually wanted to be in the room and he was aware of the energy. So I'm going to go and let him out. Bless him. Rachel, thank you, Julie, and everyone for sharing your light. Honored to share mine with you all. And I am honored and grateful to each and every one of you for bringing your light to the gathering. Elaine says, yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you, Serge. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wasn't aware that you'd actually been there. So very grateful that you were there. Thank you. Hopefully there will be I can get the replay and perhaps put it up on the website and send it out to the community as well. So glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for that feedback. A couple more comments. Fabulous. Rachel, yes, Alara is. She's very open. So it really is wonderful having those chats with her. Renata, I haven't been here for quite some time. Feels great to be back. Well, Renata, it's wonderful to have you back. You are welcomed back with open arms. So all of you that are here, both new and older members of the community, it's part of the renewal. It's part of renewing and bringing things through at a whole new phase. And it never ceases to amaze me how the guidance is there for unique journeys each and every time we gather together. So I think it's each and every one of you. It's the unique dynamics of the contributions that each one of you brings that actually guides the process that's required. So I'm extremely grateful for you all. Rachel says it's a family gathering. Yeah, I think I should call it that, Rachel. The family gathering from here on. You guys are really, really wonderful. So in closing, I just want to, we got Piwe here from South Africa too. So I hope you enjoyed that, Piwe. The Sand people are really, really, we are all home. Sorry, there is Elaine. Next time, can we bring our picnic? That's our Elaine on form. Renata, look for Diamond Light World, or come and join the Diamond Light community. So that is a request to join the community. So come and join the Diamond Light community because we post a lot of stuff up on there. Either that or Diamond Light World. I tend to share to both pages. The one's a public page, the one is a closed group, but there's lots of stuff being shared there. So thank you and heartfelt gratitude. I feel better today than I've done all week with the way that this energy has been impacting us. Oh, Serge, that's lovely. Because Serge is relatively new to our group. I think it's been a couple of sessions, and Serge says we've got a really fantastic group. That's very true. Yes, indeed. Really beautiful. So thank you all, and do look forward to spending more time with you all in future. So Piwe says, I did enjoy this. I needed this session after my lion encounter. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully that will put it back into perspective. Renata, I go back to Penny in SA, who I met in 1997. Oh, Renata, that's so fascinating because I met Penny in 1998. So there's a wonderful connection there. For those of you that are not familiar, the Antonia technique that I teach and practice, the body work I was talking about earlier. That's right, Renata. She did. The body work process comes from Penny in South Africa. Truly amazing. An amazing process. So, yes, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to sign off and get the recording out. Just heartfelt gratitude and thanks for being here. What's that? Book your dentist in advance. Ah, Rachel! It's because Rachel had to go to the dentist after her Antonia treatment, so that's a bit of a standing joke. So sorry, this is still on the recording. I'm going to end the recording, and I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you for your love, for your incredible light, for your amazing commitment, for your beauty, and for your strength, which we all share when we are together. So really look forward to the next opportunity, and just enjoy this renewal period.